Hey, how's it going? I'm Nick and welcome back to I Could Do That DIY for another doll repaint video. Today I'll be customizing Honey, the doll that I designed and created myself. Alright, let's get started. For this project, let's get fancy. Let's use my Honey cat sculpt and make a fancy cat. To refresh your memory, here's the cat sculpt. I'll be using the paw, hands, and feet, and we'll be making a new hip piece with a custom tail. This character is inspired by a mixture of the Baron from The Cat Returns and Scrooge McDuck. I'll print him with Frozen brand resin in the color Vanilla. But before we get into it, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the video. Also make sure to hit that notification bell to stay up to date on all of our latest projects. If you haven't already checked out the website, go check it out. www.thehoneydog.com. There are a bunch of different options on the website for you to explore. You can purchase a stock honey or customize your very own. There's always new things being added to the shop, so make sure to keep an eye out. Alright, now let's get to the project. So here's how he turned out after he was 3D printed. I really like the color of this resin. I think it looks really good. As usual, I'll lay out the eye with a watercolor pencil. I'll do one side and then the other side. Alright, cool. I'll do the other side off screen. Then I'll move on to using a pink watercolor pencil to color in the waterline of the eye. I forgot to mention earlier that the cat breed we're actually going for is going to be a Seal Point Siamese. I just have always been kind of obsessed with them and think they're really pretty. Let's start working on the markings with some pastels. I'll start with the dark brown pastel. Once I get enough pastel on, I'll use another clean brush to diffuse the edge. This will also help blend the color. And since I'm happy with the amount of work I've done so far, I'm going to seal my work with a layer of Mr. Super Clear. On the next layer, I'll use a black watercolor pencil to go over my eyeliner shape. And I'll continue to build up the markings with some more pastels. Alright, that's looking pretty good for the pastels for now. Now using a watered down black acrylic paint, I'll paint over the eyeliner and the nose. And that's pretty good for the face for now. Next, let's add some faux eyelashes to the upper eye. I'll be using Kiss brand faux eyelashes in the style So Real. I'll start by measuring the eyelash to the eye and then cutting them the appropriate length. Then using some quick dry tacky glue, I'll add some glue to the eyelash and to the eye, and then stick on the eyelash. Once I'm happy with the placement, I'll do the other eye. Once I do both eyes and let them dry, I'll move on to adding some gloss to the face. I'll gloss the nose, the lip line, and the waterline of the eye. Alright, cool. Now using some pastels, I'll change the colors of the paws, the forearms, and the legs. I'll use the same pastels that I used for the face. Once all the paws are the appropriate color, I'll paint the pads a light tan. After that, I'll paint the nails black. Once I'm all done painting the lower paws, I'll move on to stringing the tail. I'll use some elastic and an S-hook in all of my tail pieces. Cool, looks pretty good. Alright, now let's move on to the eye. I'll be using my eye cat base. I'll start by painting the iris a light blue. Then I'll use my pastels to shade it. After that, I'll paint the pupil black. Alright, cool, these look pretty good. Next, let's add some epoxy. I'll use a pin and a lighter to pop any air bubbles. Then I'll use some UV light to cure it. After that, I'll use some white acrylic paint to add some catch lights. Then I'll use some more epoxy to dome the top, and a final layer of epoxy to gloss the whole thing. I'll finish up the eyes off screen, and then after that I'll make him a monocle. I designed and 3D printed this and gave it a gold base coat. Now I'll make the lens out of some scrap plastic. I'll start by tracing out the desired size and then cutting it out. Next, I'll use some quick dry tacky glue to glue in the lens. I'll just pop in the lens and glue around the back. Now I'll add some chain with a jump ring. Cool! Now it's ready to glue onto the face. I'll add a little glue to the left side and underneath the lens. Then just glue it on. I'll add some tape to help stick it in place while it dries. Now let's move on to making his suit. Of course, I'll take his measurements and make the patterns off screen. Let's start by making the tux. The first thing I'll do is sew the shoulder seams. I'll do one side and then the other side. After that, I'll sew the collar. This has a double layer. I'll just sew it at a 1/4 inch seam allowance and then turn it right side out. Now let's sew the facing. I'll sew the facing together at the back neck and the center back bottom. Then I'll move on to the sleeve. The sleeves of this are actually going to be set-in sleeves. I'll start by crimping the top edge. Once I crimp the top of the sleeves, I'll sew them in by hand off screen. Cool, this is how they look. Next, I'll just hem the sleeve opening. Cool! Now I'll sew the side seam and the underarm seam. After that, I'll sew in the collar and finish it with the facing. Once the facing is sewn on, I'll cut off the excess, flip it right side out, and press it. And then it'll look like this. Cool! Looks really good. I added a snap right here off screen. Now I'll add some faux pockets using some ribbon and some glue. I'll finish up and do the other 2 pockets off screen. Once the glue's all dry, I'll add some faux buttons to the front. Once I sew on both buttons, then we can move on to making the tuxedo shirt. This is going to be just a faux shirt, kind of like a little dicky sort of situation. It's just going to have a collar, a bib front, and a cummerbund to hold it around the waist. I'll start by sewing the front bib. I'll hem both outside edges. Then I'll sew the collar. I'll sew the top edge of the collar. I'll trim off the excess and turn it right side out off screen. Then I'll finish the neckline into the collar. I'll add a faux placket, faux buttons, and a bow tie off screen. Then it looks like this. Cool, super cute. I'll finish the bottom edge with a satin elastic and make a cummerbund. Now I'll just sew up the back to finish it up and cut off the excess. Cool! Alright, now let's finish up this jacket. I'll attach the chain to the pocket by tacking it on. Then we'll add a little carnation to the lapel. I went ahead and painted it pink off screen. Now we're just going to super glue it on. Cool, super adorable! Next up, I'm going to make a top hat using some WORBLA. I've already cut out my pattern pieces. Let's start with the upper band of the top hat. I'll heat it up and stick it together. I'll continue to add some heat to make sure it's the right shape. Then I'll stick it into the brim and use my tiny iron to fold over the edge and attach it to the brim. Cool! I'll do the same thing to seal up the top. Now that the base of the top hat is all made, I'll cover everything in black cotton. I'll start with the top. I'll paint on a thin layer of glue and then stick on the fabric. I'll do the same thing all over the top hat. Alright, now I'll go ahead and paint the outside edge black. And to finish up the top hat, I'll add some ribbon. I made some spats for his feet and ended up not liking them, so I decided not to use them. So I guess with that, the doll is complete. So here he is, here's the finished result. Oh my god, he's so cute, I love how he turned out. His little suit is adorable. I'm also obsessed with how the monocle and the top hat turned out. The top hat turned out a lot better than I thought it was going to. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that I 3D printed and painted him a little cane off screen. I think it really completes the look. What do you think of my fancy cat? Do you have any good names for him? I had a hard time naming him, so I decided to leave it up to you guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching the video, and I hope you enjoyed it. For the rest of the video, enjoy the remainder of the photos. Thanks again for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!